Coming to Our Senses, Volume 11. Look on the bright side. Look on the bright side. Look on the bright side. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I hope you'll stay a while. What does it mean to look on the bright side? Have you ever been told to do it? What was in it for them? What was in it for you? I've been swimming in the marshes of self-help this year, examining how it shapes us and how we shape it. There's nothing wrong with taking an optimistic stance, holding a positive outlook, or focusing on the good. But there's a dark side to all this positive thinking, a cruel optimism. Snake oil, packaged and sold as a cure-all for situations beyond our control. Toxic positivity echoes in the shadows, turning us away from the small, quiet voice within. Freedom, happiness, and success are a choice, regardless of your material circumstances and socio-economic conditions. We are taught to tie a rock to the truth and roll it into the water, so it sinks. It feels good to be rid of the weight of those words, those heavy thoughts and feelings that hold us back. It may work for a while. But the rope we tied around the middle of the rock and attached to truth is also tied to us, to me, to you. Eventually the gravity of the situation catches up and pulls us in. What if those thoughts and feelings aren't adversaries, but messages to process? We can, of course, find the bright side of uncomfortable, undesirable, and painful situations. We are creative, resourceful, and highly adaptive beings after all. But the bright side is ours to define. It can't be hurried, and there's no shortcut through denial or prohibition of the path we must take to reach it. Sustaining hope grows slowly, piece by piece. It's a fragile revelation that gradually warms through the cold heart, the sense of possibility that we have protected within ice from the temperature drops of disappointments, letdowns and setbacks. Maybe you can sense a change coming, a gentle thawing, something shifting. May these pages provide refuge, encouragement and inspiration. Travel with us as we explore the brightness, shadows and the rich textures of the misty gloaming. Do not disturb. The cover of darkness sells the shape of success, a permissive cloak for shameful deeds and shady deals. Here we sleep, perchance to dream, hooked by fears and promises, too good to ignore, too frightening to unsettle. Do not disturb dangles from the shadow's door. Keep your head down. Play the game. For some, this is not an option. The dark side must be revealed, illuminated. The sign is torn from the door, despite the dangers. The need for safety overridden by a stronger pull. Once seen, it cannot be unseen. It cannot remain unspoken. I can't keep quiet. I wish it wasn't me. I hope you wish me luck. The Breakfast Table by Christine. Ali broke down the word in her head as she rolled over onto her back in bed. Retreat. A place to get away from it all. As if. She broke down the word even more. Re and treat. A pleasure revisited. My ass. This weekend was not something she ever wanted to repeat. She was in her hotel room, dreading the next 24 hours. She wanted to hide, both physically and metaphorically, which she could do, but she had spent so much. She hated the fact that she could have done her own retreat at home without paying the same price as buying a diamond necklace. Jewellery might have been a better investment. Ali growled in frustration. Why was she here? What did she think was going to happen? She stared at the ceiling as she contemplated these questions. Still, she knew the answer. She either engaged in mindless small talk or would be subject to more public shunning. She had fallen for the illusion that this weekend was going to be great. The marketing lured her in, leading her to believe that not only would she get away from it all and focus on her writing, but she would be surrounded by other writers, like-minded people. And so Ali let herself be open and vulnerable to meeting new people. She was shocked and disappointed to find that cliques had quickly formed among the other guests, all without her. She looked at the time on her phone. 6:15. She needed to get up and get ready for the day before the dining hall doors opened for breakfast. In the shower, she let the water splash on her back. Hot, but not as soothing as she hoped. The water was doing nothing to wash away the negative vibes she had absorbed. She needed a bath. That would have to wait until she was safe back in her apartment. She asked herself the same question. Why had she spent so much money? Because it was all-inclusive. The resort oversaw all travel arrangements, activities and meals. All Ali needed to do was to show up and be in the moment. be with people who share your goals and mindset. But that wasn't true. That was just good marketing. After Ali dressed, she opened the curtains and gazed out at the landscape. The sun was rising, and it made the sky burst with shades of pink, orange and purpley blues. So beautiful, yet she couldn't enjoy it. She chastised herself. She should be more appreciative. She should be more grateful that she had the means to take this trip. Ali took a deep breath and let it out. She rolled her shoulders a couple of times, hoping to release the tension and the regret. "You can do this," her head cheered, but her heart silently cried. "All you have to endure is 3 more meals. 1 more day, then you can go back to your quiet and predictable life. It isn't like you will ever have to see these people again, right?" The thought energized Ali enough to square her shoulders. "Off to battle. No, breakfast," she said out loud as she opened her room's door. The dining hall door opened as she arrived, and she hurried to her usual table. If nothing else, Peter, the waiter, would take care of her. Ali warily looked around the room for a friendly face, but saw none. As she waited for Peter to appear, she gazed upon the clusters of people who had already met their new best friends. She noted that today was not nearly as crowded as the first day of the retreat. She guessed the excitement had worn off, and they were sleeping in. Whatever the case, she was thankful for that. Fewer people to witness her public loneliness. Ali ordered her tea and juice and then made her way to the buffet. She skirted the line at the made-to-order omelette station and filled her plate with eggs, bacon and sausage. She grabbed a bowl of mixed berries and a croissant before heading back to the table. The table. It was set for 6, but she was the only one sitting there. It was the source of Ali's ill will. No one approached the table, and she watched as others actively avoided making eye contact with her. Everyone found other places to sit. Still, she plastered a smile on her face, hoping someone would sit with her. She was a friendly person, damn it. Ali hadn't felt this uncomfortable in a while, but each meal seemed to be pulling her back through painful memories of high school, middle school and now grade school. All the self-confidence that she built was gone in 2 days. Now she sat here feeling like a 5-year-old, waiting for someone to notice her. It was not the retreat she wanted to experience. Ali busied herself with her breakfast as she fought back the tears. She focused on the creaminess of the eggs, the flakiness of the croissant, the sweetness of the berries, and of course the saltiness of the meat. Oh, how she loved bacon. She savoured each mouthful. If only she could make a shield against shallowness with bacon, then she could bear the pain. A bacon shield. That would be great. She smiled at herself. Everything is better with bacon. On the bright side, with the buffet, she could have as much bacon as she wanted. Why not? She paid enough for it. With these hands. The brightest sides we may stumble on in tough times are often discovered in connection with other beings. Those who see us and hold us in the space we need. Those who support us. Those who care, not simply while we pick ourselves up and get back on our feet, but they remind us of the web of existence from which we draw and contribute strength to something greater than ourselves. Tough times show us that we are not self-made. The idea that we are is a deception that keeps us atomized, isolated, and enslaved to an impossible dream. We are not wired to be alone. But it's not always easy to be with others, especially when we've learned from experience that it's really hard to trust people and institutions. Sage's reflections about hands. In the dark Brothers Grimm fairy tale of the handless maiden, aka the girl without hands, I found parts of myself. My diagnosis of vascular Ehlers-Danlos syndrome has made my body into useless ragdoll limbs that can betray me without notice. That forced me to ask for help, to depend on the hands of others. On the bright side, in allowing myself to receive gifts, I began to feel worthy of feeling taken care of. From that place of protection, of feeling the hands of others and allowing their support, I began to gain more stability and greater independence by surrendering to the interdependence of helping hands in my heart and home.
Our Goodnight ritual, setting loving intentions before bed. We huddle, hug, and hold hands.
These hands will make beautiful music.
My daughter says as she kisses her father's hands goodnight.
These hands will make beautiful writing.
My husband says as he kisses my hands goodnight. These hands will make beautiful stop-motion filmmaking, I say as I kiss my daughter's hands goodnight. We honor our hands of purpose, of impact, of healing. Present, we are grateful for our hands that create, that express love, that bring people together. This is one of our tiny rituals to breathe, center, focus, and oxytocin up with the cuddle hormone. We kiss foreheads and hug once more before we all say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
These hands. I'm in love with these beautiful hands and the talented man attached to them. These are the hands that lovingly held, fed, and comforted our daughter through endless nights and months of severe colic when she was a baby. Every night, these hands tenderly cradle, stretch, and massage my neck to keep me out of the wheelchair and gently realign what Chiari malformation disables. On this night, these miraculous hands improvise notes as they tickle the ivory on his 60th anniversary of playing piano. These are committed hands that know devotion to music, to marriage, to family, to love.
This is not the end of your story. 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 The Sunbeam and the Goblin, from Tuula. This is a Finnish children's song from 1949. It's a national treasure that everyone knows. The lyrics are translated approximately. The original includes words and sayings that are difficult to translate. When the sun had ended her day's travels, lingering just behind her sisters, stayed the last golden sunbeam. Twilight softly reached the meadows, and the golden-winged sunbeam was about to fly ahead, when she saw a tiny goblin coming towards her on the path. He'd just climbed from his little cave. For a goblin cannot live on the earth's bright surface before the sun has fully set and left. They stood still and gazed at each other. The goblin in his chest felt a strange, bright and warm fluttering. He said, "Your glow burns in my eyes, yet in all my life I've never seen a thing so wonderful. I don't mind if your brightness leaves me blind. It's easy enough to find my way in the dark. Stay with me, and to my home cave I'll show you the way, and take you as my dearest." The sunbeam replied, "My dear goblin, darkness steals the life from me, and I cannot wish for death. I must go. I must fly to the light, or I cannot live a moment more. I won't survive a single moment more." And the lovely sunbeam left him. But even now, when the goblin wanders along alone, he wonders why one here is a child of the light, and the other loves the night. In the small village of Akaslampolo in Lapland, the streetlights have traditionally been switched off at 10 p.m. during the dark polar night winter season, so that the stars and the northern lights can be seen more clearly. For tourists retreating from noisy, bright urban environments, this has provided a radically different sensory experience. And while for many this lack of light pollution has been a strong part of what draws them to Lapland, for others, the darkness, stillness, and silence may have triggered a sense of dis-ease. Local authorities have recently decided to keep the lights on all night in the name of tourist safety. We may confuse a perception of danger with the presence of unfamiliarity. There is a relentlessly stimulating buzz in a town or city, and there may be real risks associated with wandering alone in unlit areas. As such, we are trained to see light as a source of control, security, and protection. On the flip side, darkness, silence, and stillness are experienced as threats, because the natural nervous system is adapted to artificial defense mechanisms designed for and effective in particular contexts. The story in the nervous system is carried into a safe environment, and yet it continues to cue feelings of unsafety, despite there being no real evidence of risk. Is it sometimes easier to maintain the stimulating noise because calm, still, quiet, solitude, darkness, and rest feel like more of a threat? In the face of relentless stimulation, have we turned natural sources of connection and healing into sources of deep discomfort? These rare gifts in modern society are gradually eroded through standardization and homogeneity. We want more of what we're used to, not what we might discover. And the power holders are all too happy to oblige. For the tourist companies, keeping the lights on further privatizes access to nature, creates opportunities to exploit and capitalize on. If it's no longer something you can see, feel, and experience from your own doorstep, you must pay through the nose to be taken from the artificial lights and towards the promised land where stars and auroras abound. Mind you, with no guarantee and no refunds if it's cloudy or there are no auroras on your allotted night. Darkness falls on our after-hours worlds. Brightness lifts and prepares us for the shift. Thank you for listening to this issue of Coming to Our Senses. Coming to Our Senses is a community zine delivered through The Haven. It provides us with a space to explore the intersection of high sensitivity, creativity, and the world around us. This issue was collaged and curated by Andy Mort, and initially inspired by the conversation we had in our community Phrase Maze gathering. It features work from Alexa, Christine, Geoff, Gracie, Sage, and Tuula. Join us to explore our full zine archive and bring your creative spirit to future issues in The Haven.